Look down at the asphalt beneath your feet. If you are standing on a street corner in London right now, watching the double-decker buses roll by,
or listening to the hum of the underground, you need to understand something terrifying. You aren't just standing on a modern street.
You are standing on a graveyard. You are standing on top of crushed bones, compacted ash.
This was a miserable, muddy, disease-ridden swamp. It was a city that was burned to the ground, not once, but multiple times.
It was a city where a plague wiped out half the population in a matter of months.
A city where Viking raiders slaughtered thousands, and where relentless bombs rained from the night sky for almost 2 months straight.
Become the beating heart of the greatest empire the world has ever seen? The answer lies buried deep beneath the modern skyline. If you want to uncover the hidden secrets of the world's most resilient city, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's dig into the ashes.
Chapter 1. The Blood of Boudicca and the Roman Swamp. The year is 43 AD.
The Roman Empire is the most fearsome, highly disciplined military machine on the face of the earth. 4 legions, battle-hardened and ruthless,
Have just crossed the English Channel. They are pushing their way into a damp, freezing, and hostile island called Britannia.
They aren't looking to build a beautiful metropolis. They just need a logistical crossing. A place to bridge the River Thames, so they can establish supply lines back to the European continent.
They find a spot where the river is narrow enough to bridge, but deep enough for seafaring ship.
They drive wooden pilings into the mud, build their crossing, and almost by accident, a settlement is born.
They call it Londinium. Within a single decade, this muddy outpost explodes into a booming frontier town.
Merchants from Gaul, soldiers from Syria.
Londinium becomes the ultimate ancient boomtown, filled with the noise of commerce and the smell of opportunity.
Her name is Boudicca, queen of the native Iceni tribe. After the death of her husband, the Romans ignore his will.
Pushed beyond the brink of human endurance, she doesn't just rebel, she unleashes hell on Earth.
In 60 AD, Boudicca gathers a massive army of furious Britons and marches straight for Londinium. The Roman governor realizes he doesn't have the troops to defend the city, so he abandons it.
that the clay walls of the buildings literally melt. Even today, 2,000 years later, archaeologists digging beneath modern Lundo
Constantly hit a thick, dark layer of oxidized red ash. It is known as the Boudiccan destruction horizon.
The permanent physical scar of a queen's absolute wrath. Chapter 2. The haunted ruins and the Viking terror. But Rome is a stubborn beast. They return, they wipe out Boudicca's rebellion, and they rebuild Londinium bigger, stronger,
And more imposing than before. They construct massive defensive stone walls around the city, parts of which still stand hidden in London today. At its peak, it is a proper Roman city, with an amphitheater, public baths, and a booming population of 60,000.
But empires don't last forever. By the early 5th century, Rome itself is crumbling under the weight of barbarian invasions.
The legions in Britannia are called home to defend the motherland. In 410 AD, Emperor Honorius sends a letter to Britannia.
Look to your own defenses. Just like that, the Romans leave.
and the entire economy of Londinium collapses overnight. The trade networks stop. The merchants flee.
Within a generation, this grand city of 60,000 people dwindles to a ghost town for the next 200 years.
But the peace was an illusion. The horizon was about to darken with the sails of dragon ships.
The ultimate apex predators of the Dark Ages had found the River Thames. The Vikings.
Starting in the late 8th century, Norse warriors realized that Lundenwic is rich, undefended, and completely exposed.
In 842, they sack the city. Blood runs in the streets. In 851, they return with a massive fleet and do it again.
The Saxons are slaughtered, their wooden homes burned to cinders. It takes the legendary King Alfred the Great to finally halt the Viking meat grinder. In 886, Alfred does something brilliant. He looks at the undefended, burned-out wooden town of Lundenwic, and then he looks at the abandoned, haunted, 800-year-old Roman walls sitting a mile away.
He forces his people to abandon their superstitions. He moves the entire population back inside the old Roman fortress.
He repairs the ancient walls. He recuts the defensive ditches. London is reborn as a military stronghold, Lundenburg.
Chapter 3. The Norman Yoke and the Black Death. Let's jump forward to 1066. William, the Duke of Normandy, William the Conqueror, takes the English throne. But William has a problem.
He knows the people of London are rebellious, fierce, and fiercely independent. He doesn't trust them. It dominates the medieval skyline, a brutal, inescapable reminder to every London. Under the Normans, London grows into a cramped, chaotic, and incredibly wealthy medieval metropolis. Powerful guilds are formed. London Bridge is rebuilt entirely in stone, a massive engineering marvel that takes 33 years to complete, featuring houses, shops,
a chapel, and the severed heads of traitors displayed on spikes. By the 1300s, London is bursting at the seams.
But London's greatest existential threat wasn't going to come from a Norman king, a Viking axe, or a rebellious queen.
It was going to arrive silently, on the backs of the very rats scurrying through their narrow, filthy streets.
Ships dock at the port of London carrying cargo. But deep in the holds of those ships are black rats.
On those rats are fleas, and inside the gut of those fleas is a microscopic bacterium, Yersinia pestis, the Black Death.
What follows is an apocalypse that is hard for the modern mind to comprehend. The plague sweeps through the overcrowded as
there is no time for funerals. There are no coffins left. Mass burial pits are hastily dug outside the city walls. Within just 2 years, it is estimated that up to half of London's entire population is wiped off the face of the earth.
The city is utterly traumatized. Entire streets are left completely empty, the doors swinging in the wind.
Yet, astonishingly, the city refuses to die. The survivors inherit the wealth of the dead.
Wages go up. The economy rebounds. By the 1600s, under the Tudor and Stuart monarchs, London's population doesn't just recover, and it explodes. It swells to nearly 400,000 people. But this rapid growth creates a fatal flaw. London is a massive tinderbox.
It is built almost entirely of dry timber, pitched roofs, and highly flammable thatch. The streets are incredibly narrow, with the upper floors of houses jutting out so far they almost touch the houses across the street. People use open fires for everything.
Heating, cooking, manufacturing. There is no fire department. It was
the worst miscalculation in British history.
The wind catches the flames, and the fire transforms into an unstoppable, roaring monster.
It leaps from roof to roof. It engulfs warehouses on the riverfront filled with oil, tallow, and gunpowder.
For 4 agonizing days and nights, London burned. The heat is so intense that the lead roof of the magnificent St. Paul's Cathedral
melts and flows down the streets like a glowing river. When the wind finally dies down and the smoke clears,
the devastation is absolute. 85% of the medieval city within the walls is vaporized. 13,000 houses are gone.
87 parish churches are ash. Over 100,000 people are instantly rendered homeless, forced to camp in the fields of Moorfields and Islington.
Shivering in the incoming autumn cold, the Great Fire of 1666 destroyed the old medieval world completely. It wiped the slate clean.
New building regulations mandate brick and stone. Sir Christopher Wren redesigns the skyline, building 51 new churches and crowning the city
with the breathtaking dome of the new St. Paul's Cathedral. Jump forward to the 19th century, the Victorian era.
Thanks to the Industrial Revolution and the staggering reach of the British Empire, London becomes the largest city in the history of the world. The population rockets past 2 million, then 3 million, then 6 million. It is a city of unparalleled global power.
But it is also a city of brutal, crushing inequality. While the aristocrats and wealthy merchants live in absolute luxury in Mayfair and Belgravia,
the working class is crammed into the horrific slums of the East End. Whole families live in single, windowless rooms. The River Thames, the lifeblood of the city, literally becomes a massive, open sewer taking the raw, untreated waste of millions of people.
In 1858, during an event known as the Great Stink, the smell of the river becomes so suffocatingly toxic that Parliament
has to soak their curtains in chloride of lime just to stay in the building. Cholera outbreaks tear through the slums,
killing tens of thousands because people are drinking feces-contaminated water. It is a dark, dangerous world.
The smog-choked, gas-lit streets where Jack the Ripper stalks his victims. It takes visionary engineering,
like Joseph Bazalgette's massive underground sewer system, to finally save the city from its own filth.
London pushes into the 20th century as a modern metropolis.
But the ultimate test of its survival is yet to come.
The sky itself is about to fall. World War II. September 1940.
Adolf Hitler turns his attention to wiping London off the map. This is the Blitz.
For 57 consecutive nights, German Luftwaffe bombers pound the city relentlessly. High explosives and incendiary bombs rain down on homes, hospitals, and docks. Entire neighborhoods are instantly erased in explosions of brick and fire.
Londoners are forced to sleep deep underground on the platforms of the tube stations.
Almost 30,000 Londoners are killed. Over 1 million houses are destroyed or damaged. And yet, amid the smoke and the sheer terror, an iconic photograph is taken. It shows the massive dome of St. Paul's Cathedral standing defiant, completely surrounded by swirling black smoke and fire. It becomes the ultimate symbol of British resolve.
The message to the world is clear. You can bomb us, you can burn us, but London refuses to die. Look at London today. It stands as a breathtaking monument to sheer human willpower.
It is a thriving, chaotic, beautiful megacity of over 9 million people. It is the most diverse city on Earth, where over 300 different languages are spoken on the streets every single day. You can find food from every corner of the globe,
music from every culture, and a community from every nation. London is not just a place on a map. It is an organism.
It survived the Roman collapse. It survived the Viking axes. It survived the unimaginable horrors of the Black Death.
It survived the Great Fire that turned its history to ash. And it survived the Nazi bombs that tried to break its spirit. Each time it fell, it didn't just rebuild. It adapted. It evolved. It pulled in new people with new ideas,
new strength, and new cultures. That is what makes London indestructible. It is messy, it is incredibly expensive.
It is crowded, and it is endlessly complicated. And it has been exactly that way for 2,000 years.
Creating deep-dive documentaries like this takes an enormous amount of time and research, piecing together thousands of years of history into one cohesive story. If you enjoyed this journey through London's epic evolution from a bloody Roman marshland
into a global superpower, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribe for more Untold History. What city's dark and hidden past should we uncover next? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, we'll see you in the past.